Congratulations again. The Raiders down the tunnel they go. Will they play Brisbane out of the final series? Croker leads them out. The Green Machine is back for another final series. And now the minor premiers, incidentally, against top 8 opponents. It's not to be discounted that Canberra's record reads better than both the Dragons and the Cowboys. They'll get a roar when they hit the ground. Brad Fittler breaks the long-standing record for finals appearances. Yes, he breaks the record set by Norm Provan at 29. 30th finals game for Brad Fittler, who captains the Sydney Roosters and minor premiers into the 4th qualifying final today. Runner-up in the Dally M's to Danny Badiris, Brett Finch. Another big day for Craig Fitzgibbon. He plays his 150th first-grade game today. Paul Simpkins is the referee. Time is on. 4th qualifying final underway. Raiders kicking off. Roosters' first use of the football. And bringing the ball back to them is Caddick. Tackled over on the eastern side of the ground. A stinging tackle and had plenty of bones in it, I'll give you the tip. Hegarty out to the 20 now. 2-man tackle. Craig Wing goes out to be met by Tyron Smith with an arm creeping up dangerously high. Penalty goes to the Sydney Roosters back on their own 30-metre line. Twice they've played this year. Twice it's been the Sydney Roosters victorious. Aussie Stadium and of course at Canberra the margin wasn't as wide. Kalis driven down with Smith again coming in over the top. Marshall Chalk, who got 4 tries last weekend, involved in the defence. Now Caddick taken down by Michael Hodson in the main. Lock forward Ricketson just outside the 40-metre line. Again it's Hodson making the tackle. O'Hara was also involved. Caddick again. So that's the 3rd hit up for Caddick. And they're only on their 2nd set. Wing through to Fittler. To the 30-metre line goes Fitzgibbon. 5 and last call by Simpkins. Cross a dummy half. Now for Fittler. Fittler across. Chalk is coming in to take it. And he runs it out 15 metres from the Canberra line.
It's a very good defence from the Canberra Raiders to start this game. Again, the point of attack changed by the Roosters on a couple of occasions, but the Raiders players moving across where needed. I'll enjoy that penalty. Ricky Stewart from the Brains Trust. John Cartwright sitting next to him. Brad Drew won't pick up a lot of ground. Does pretty well to get it over the halfway.
So he's now got the ability to switch Drew from 7 into the number 9 position with McClendon on the bench. A run there for Ian Hindmarsh. Andrew Voss sideline.
Yeah, and a bit of breeze at the backs of the Raiders players for this first 40 minutes. Their game plan was very straightforward, I'm told, for the Canberra Raiders. They're just talking high completion rate. Kick chase has got to be strong, but above all, be aggressive. The last 2 times they've played the Roosters, at some point in the match, they have trailed 22-0. So they want to start this game at their best.
Javosky playing the ball. It was Lawrence a dummy half and Drew the receiver. An inside ball for Hindmarsh, and now it's come across to Jason Croker. Croker down to the 10-metre line, lays the ball down on the ground behind, and it might be Roosters' ball. It is. Dived on by Chris Walker. Now Hodges. There's the ball. Out the back from Jason Croker, taking every opportunity, and that's what they've got to do, really. They don't have to play reckless football, but they don't have to die wondering. Wing to the 30-metre line, down the centre. Tyron Smith is hitting hard. He's wearing the 13 jumper, the big fella with the bald head, Jason Croker. First man in the tackle, however. Finch puts the ball down ground, bounces perpendicular for Shavovsky back on 20. Hodges makes the tackle with Crocker. So we've got Croker and Crocker. I knew it would happen eventually. Chalk played back for Monahan. Monahan coming, of course, to the Roosters next year with Amos Roberts. Phil Graham, the other winger, from the right side, coming over to take a run on the western side of the ground. As Michael Hodgson again takes it up to the Roosters' 40-metre line. Down they go to the narrow side of the ground, and Brad Drew just floats it over the sideline on the full.
There was actually really a chance here for the dummy half to run the football. He threw the dummy there. Both markers went. If Lawrence had it scooted, there was a hole to take advantage of. Brad Drew very unhappy with that effort.
Cross now. And Fittler throwing it back and down for Wing, and Wing and away for Finch, and Finch is not held, not secured, and Wing gets the play just on the Canberra side of halfway. Hodgson and Hindmarsh, both former Parramatta players, making the tackle. Here's Finch, 35 metres out from the line. From Crocker, it's gone across, and then an inside pass finding Fitzgibbon, 25 metres out from the Canberra line. Wing down the short side. Michael Crocker, 10 away from the line. Wing, Finch, pressure now, there's the kick. Finch doesn't find the in goal, he finds Brad Drew.
Well, I can tell you the Raiders have made a very significant change to their defensive lineup today. The last time they played the Roosters, they jammed up very tight in defence, and the Roosters caught them napping with long passes to the outside. Today they're covering the width of the field with their defensive line. The Roosters are going to have to make some adjustments.
Back and hold.
Hindmarsh. There's Wolford, the suspended captain for Canberra, down the sideline. I don't know whether that's in the rule.
Well, what shouldn't be in the rules for the Raiders is to run the football like that on the last tackle and hand it over without getting a kick away. Terry Madison down on the sideline as well, former great Brisbane player. Michael Crocker juggled the football. And hit in a dangerous tackle here. Tyron Smith involved.
Justin, stay out. Tyron, come out. Effectively held, got the hand between the legs, lift up, headed in a dangerous position. It's on report.
I don't know how he can just call one of them out.
No, Jason Croker will have a problem out of that as well. Both were just about equally responsible.
He started off in a pretty angry mood. It is an aggressive game, and Tyron Smith eventually pays a penalty. I don't know how big the penalty will be.
Wait, go.
But there are two men with equal responsibility in the tackle. Ricketson, right in front of the uprights, 18 metres out. Finch taking off Fittler and running to the left of the ground.
Try line. Hold, try line.
Three of them again in the tackle with O'Hara, one of them. Then Fittler away to Wing. And Wing is held safely by Canberra.
Hold,
Ian Hindmarsh in 12 working overtime. Lawrence, the 19, has brought a penalty against his team.
Wait, Mark.
And they take the tap. They think they can score. And it's with the captain. He turns it back and away for Kalis. Kalis up to the 10-metre line. And again, he's tackled there by Hindmarsh. Wing decides to go back to Fittler. And Fittler knocks on. So they are off the hook, Canberra.
Well, that's an extraordinary decision by Brad Fittler not to kick for goal there. Normally, early stages of a game with a penalty like that, he will distinctively point straight to the post. Today he went for 6 and he's come up with the error on tackle 2. I would hope that that's not a lack of respect for the Raiders' defence. It may come back to bite them.
Drew serving the scrum, 10 metres out from his own line. And Monahan comes in to take the first play from the traditional 5/8 position. This is Adam Mogg. Just beyond the 22-metre line, wrapped up by Fitzgibbon and Kalis, and away from dummy half comes Shavovsky. He can prove a thorn in the side of any team, a brilliant player. Very, very talented. And there's O'Hara going down, and a penalty has been given to Canberra.
We'll talk about the simple game plan from Canberra. 3 dummy half runs, then a one off the ruck run by Ryan O'Hara, catching the defence just in front of the referee. Even though they're keeping it simple, they are not being dominated in tackles, and that's where you get in trouble against the Roosters. They are still getting a reasonable play the ball and still getting some momentum in their attack. Drew, first receiver, finds O'Hara centre field.
Kalis finds him in company with front row partner Katic, and now it's away with Hindmarsh. Hodgson going in for dummy half work, but ordered out of there by Lawrence, and then they put personnel running in all sorts of directions, and Tyron Smith is tackled by Michael Crocker and by Ricketson. Here's Shavovsky now inside the 10. This is the area where Canberra have trouble in their opponent's red zone. They just seem to get lost in attack. Now it's with Drew, and he turns it on the inside. And Hodgson is brought down on 5 and last. Lawrence looking across to his right. Called out there by Drew. Drew puts in the kick off the edge of the boot. Comes back down to Canberra and not play that. So the turnover has been ordered.
They're still niggling away at the Roosters. And that's what you do when you're massive underdogs. You control the ball to the last tackle, you bend them back, and you ask them some questions. You say, how keen are you?
Stand up.
Are you complacent? Raiders doing a good job early in this game.
Fitzgibbon played in 4 of the last 5 grand finals.
That's a great tackle. That's Roosters on Roosters.
Hindmarsh and O'Hara making the tackle jointly. Kalis now. Same 2 tacklers. Wing to the left for Ricketson. They're trying to hammer their way through the middle. Out to the 30-metre line. Wing goes out now to Cross. And it's been Cross on that side of the ground that has been very successful for the Roosters. 10 minutes of the game gone. Canberra at the moment holding tight. 0-all the scoreboard. Monaghan coming away from the southern try line, taking a bumping tackle from Ricketson and Crocker.
Interesting that Joel Monaghan was a man to drop back there for the kick return. Normally the winger would be back there in Marshall Chalk, but Monaghan runs the ball very strongly. He's off to the Tricolours next season, in fact, as Mogg is tackled 35 from his line.
Shavovsky, now Wiki. A game of courage already. Just simply to be there, to be an inspiration. Drew, now Croker, back and around and across. And Wing and Fitzgibbon, they work double time to stop him right on the halfway line. And then Drew goes to the eastern side, gets the ball rolling end on end and finds the line 21 metres away from the Roosters line.
He tried this earlier on, Brad Drew. He kicked it into touch on the full, but this is a tactic used by the Bulldogs earlier this year. If you remember on that night, they kicked the ball out over the sideline. They tried to slow the game down. They walked to scrums. They didn't want Minicello bringing the ball back on kick reception. To me, this is a game plan out of the league for the Bulldogs the night the Bulldogs really routed the Roosters at Telstra Stadium. Very similar tactics.
Well, 11 and 3/4 minutes gone in the game, and you had the Roosters packing their scrum to make the referee blow time out as the Raiders dawdled down to the scrum formation. Minicello plays this ball just outside the 20-metre line. Michael Crocker gets it out to the 30-metre line. The sound of the whistle again. Penalty Roosters. Andrew Voss sideline.
Yeah, well, Ray, give you a sign of the improvement in the Raiders side since they played the Roosters 3 weeks ago down there in Canberra. At this point of the match, they are already behind 16-0. That is big improvement from the Green Machine.
Craig Wing taking the line finder, kicking it towards you, Vossi. Be careful.
And the Roosters will put a lot of pressure here on the referee to keep the tempo of the game up. They know the Raiders want to slow it down. Stalling tactics up against a team that wants to play fast. Paul Simpkins is under pressure here.
Kalis, Wing, Finch, Ricketson over the 40-metre line. And a grassing tackle by Lawrence, playing in only his 4th game and his first run-on game. With Finch making the tackle, Finch about to play the ball 22 metres out. Drew making the tackle. Hegarty comes across. And there's a Canberra player gone down, Hindmarsh. Hindmarsh is not well. Wing goes out from dummy half, and he's belted to the ground by Tyron Smith.
second man to be belted by Tyron Smith. I wouldn't be surprised if Ian Hindmarsh has been cleaned up by his own player. Put one up around the eyes, obviously, and Tyron Smith came in looking for a shoulder charge. Shannon Hegarty coming across field, as he likes to do. No, in fact, it is a head clash. Smith hitting him from one side. Hindmarsh connected the head on the other side.
We'll take a break, 0-0 with 13 gone. To our viewers taking the telecast through the UK, Sky Sports, welcome to you, and of course,
off the head. Right off the head.
down in New Zealand, all part of a network that's been with us right through the season. Lovely to have your company. A couple of big upsets already up in Papua New Guinea. G'day to you. Close inspection on the cheekbone of Ian Hindmarsh still continues here at Aussie Stadium. Live telecast on the 9 network. Replacement about to come on.
That's Josh Miller getting ready to come into the action. Player who scored a try in his debut match down in the national capital. Ian Hindmarsh being brought to the sideline now. The last couple of times the Roosters have been down in the Raiders' attacking zone. Come up with mistakes midway through the tackle count.
Great concern over Ian Hindmarsh, brother of
Craig, walk up the second marker.
Nathan.
Tackle 1.
Mogg,
Then marker square.
22 away from their own line. Here's O'Hara, 30 metres away now from the Canberra line. Lawrence, they keep coming down the blindside channel. That is Hodgson.
Oh, stand up.
Almost to halfway. Finch making the tackle with Hodges, who's playing right side centre defence. Lawrence banged down by a high-ish tackle from Hodges and Ricketson. Tyron Smith almost obliged to take an air swing when Hodges again made a valiant attempt for tackle. Ricketson with the ball now for the Roosters.
Well, their last tackle plays have been shocking. Handed the football over on the last one very meekly, and on that occasion Croker found Tyron Smith. He's not the man you want last tackle to be getting the football.
Andrew Voss, sideline.
And 13 and a half minutes gone, Ray, and we've already had 6 penalties. We've got the expertise of former referee Bill Harrigan again in commentary today. Bill, is this frustrating for referee Paul Simpkins so far?
It would be, because at the moment Canberra is stacking plenty of plays in on the tackles, trying to slow the rucks down, and he's also having to work very hard to get them back. They want to slow it down, the Roosters want to get on with it.
Here's Walker. Walker up to the 30-metre line. They will back themselves on the score of stamina, the Roosters, and this kind of football is very much against their mode of play. That's a great take by Shavovsky. Then he's been thumped back by Michael Crocker, and it'll be a line drop out, but the courage of Shavovsky right to the fore. He knew he was about to be bashed up.
That's a great take. It was a good kick, a great take, great tackle, good football all round. And that's one way to increase the pace of the game. Get the ball back with repeat sets of 6. If you've got the football, you can control the pace of the game.
And there's the difference in the last tackle plays. That one a perfect ending to the set of 6 for the Roosters. At the other end, the Raiders give the football across meekly.
It's a good drop kick. Finch gets Kalis to go back. They try to shoulder charge him. Now they pay the penalty. He gets the ball away. Ball floated by Fittler. Out to Hegarty. Hegarty takes a step in midair. Gets the ball away to Cross. Then it's on to Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon, away it goes. It's out to Finch. He comes across. Now it's with Wing. Wing's in traffic. And he's pulled down and tackled by Croker. Play back to Crocker now. Then for Ricketson. To the 10. They drift across. Minicello comes into the play. He'll unload. He does to Captain Fittler. Fittler on the 10-metre line. Crocker puts it down. Shavovsky then tries to counter-punch for Canberra, but he's picked up and driven into the ground. And a penalty.
Hold back.
It's against Brett Finch for the style of tackle. He drove him like a javelin.
Hold it there.
Brett Finch about to be cautioned here.
Same as the situation up there. Head in a dangerous position. It's on report.
On report, he won't want that to play on his nerves. But that was a pass brought out of excitement by Fittler. There was a lot of passing from the Roosters. It wasn't really on. Here's the tackle by Finch. And between the legs, Swarovski takes a dive towards the ground.
So players on report, 2 of them already, and I'm sure Jason Croker will be included in an earlier matter when the video examination is carried out. The 15 is Josh Miller, 40 metres out, 16 minutes gone. If you're backing the Raiders, you're still there.
And if you have a look at the Raiders formation and attack, you know they're not going wide. You could throw a tablecloth across them. They're playing up the middle third, trying to get some dominance around the play-the-ball area, but also not making mistakes.
Drew, inside ball, picking up Troy Thompson, who's on in the headgear in number 10. Now back for Drew again. This time he goes very, very high, down to the northern end, and Minicello does what Swarovski did up the other end of the park. No thought of self-preservation. They're coming to get me. They're going to get me, but I'm not going to refuse to take this football. Fitzgibbon. With the V8 motor working again.
Interchange for the Roosters. Morley about to come into the action. Kadich off. The Englishman can have an impact straight away.
Crowd roars for Morley. They've come to love the Englishman. 1 change for the Roosters, 2 for Canberra. Fittler kicking off the 30-metre line. One of the problems with this slow style of play adopted by Matthew Elliott's Canberra is that when the Roosters do get the football, they may tend to panic with the limited opportunities they get. We've seen that happen once already in the game. And they've really only had 2 chances down there in the red zone.
And I can tell you this dummy half running and 1 out running from the Raiders has got a tactic behind it as well. You'll know that Brad Drew likes to kick crossfield for his wingers. They'll be wanting the Roosters to come in and play tight in defence as well. They're playing their wingers right out on the sideline, waiting for Drew with the crossfield kick.
The Roosters defender down here, taken out by Tyron Smith's hip. As we go to the short side, bad kick from Drew, but they've got the result out of it. Michael Crocker is in trouble. He's the man stumbling around.
Short, the winger, across the 30-metre line. He's tackled 20 metres in from the western touchline. And now the 15, Josh Miller. Just angles it a fraction more towards centre. This is where Swarovski loves to come into the play. He's gone into dummy half this time, but he'll stay there. And there's a bad pass. That's brought them all undone. Fittler sees a gap up the middle, thinks about another 90-metre run and probably says, oh no, not this again. Minicello to the halfway line, taken by Thompson and Miller and Crocker.
Clinton on for the Raiders, Flannery on for the Roosters.
Crocker nursing the head at the moment. Fitzgibbon, 3 metres on the Canberra side of halfway. No score. Morley, 38 metres out from the line, taken by Thompson and O'Hara. Finches with the ball. 16 is Flannery. Flannery playing wide on the right. 28 metres out from the Canberra line. Finch thought about going to Ricketson, takes the tackle. There's a gap for Wing. He got through the first gap, but he couldn't get through the tackle of Jason Croker. AV now from the line. Hodges back to the middle. The Finch, the kick is for Ryan Cross. And that's tremendous work out there by the Canberra Raider.
Phil Graham has done an outstanding job. So difficult to get control of a rolling football when you've got players coming at you at speed. He got down on it. Didn't make any difference whether he was in goal or not. The sole objective was to make sure that the ball didn't get loose. Line dropout. There's Michael Crocker, who was sickened in trying to make a tackle on Tyron Smith. That sees Flannery go into the back row, playing on the right side.
Just waiting for the line dropout. The final of the US Open tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. the men's final tomorrow morning on 9 on the Wide World of Sports.
That, of course, features Leighton Hewitt up against Roger Federer. Really in good form, the Australian, up against the world number 1.
And more stalling tactics there from the Raiders. In no hurry to get this line dropout taken. The referee blew time off there, told them to hurry up. They're playing their game plan to perfection. There's no rules. They say you can turn up with any game plan you like. The Raiders have got one.
Kalis. running into Miller and O'Hara and Tyron Smith as well. They're just outside the 30-metre line. Kalis almost got a penalty. Finch away from Morley. Runs like a centre three-quarter. 20 metres out from the line. Is it coming? Is the first try of the game coming? Finch to Hodges, but he had Monahan right in his face. And McClendon is on, but he's down injured at the moment. Finch away to Ricketson. Ricketson standing on the 10-metre line.
Monahan claiming that McClendon was fouled by Hodges.
Now it's with Wing. Now to Finch. Finch dummies to Fiddler. Puts a kick in. Fitzgibbon has scored. Fitzgibbon scores in his 150th first grade game. Lovely kick. Pinpoint accuracy. Bouncing lovely.
Great work there by Brett Finch. Goes to the line. He frees it there. You can see that the Canberra line in one line and coming in, and there's a lot of space to kick to. Play continues. All the chasers are on side. Craig Fitzgibbon leading the way. Ryan Cross, he was lining up as well with Shannon Hegarty. Good work, Roosters.
First point, 4-0 Roosters. Back in a moment. Fitzgibbon will attempt conversion from an acute angle. 22 metres out from his own, or from the try line, I should say, and he's a couple of metres in from the sunny side of the street. You've missed nothing. In fact, you're not going to miss anything during the finals on the 9 Network with the exclusive live coverage right through to the grand final. 3 from 5 last weekend for Craig Fitzgibbon. He scored the try on the other side of that wee break. Here he is, attempting conversion, and he's away, offline.
That try to the Roosters is an example of some of the improvements in Brett Finch's game over the years. The ability to look wide, look short, and then place the ball in behind the line, particularly before the 5th tackle. His previous kick was on tackle 5, got the Roosters a line dropout. Now on tackle 3, he's prepared to go to the line when the defence is rushing up and put it through for his supports. That's great play, deft touch, good try to the Roosters.
He was also able to straighten up when he got to the line, and by straightening up at the defence, it opens that gap a little bit wider to kick through. If you go across field, it is so much harder to thread the needle with the little kick. But if you go to the line, the gaps are wider to kick through.
Finch now with the offload for Kalis. Kalis uses a battering ram. Morley will probably be the next. Here he comes. Battering ram number 2. He's got a little bit more to his game than Jason Kalis, though. You could put Morley out on the wing. He'd be fast enough.
Yeah, look, great tactics. We've spoken about Canberra. They're giving themselves the best chance to win this game, but also Ricky Stewart to get Morley out there. He's a player who can change the momentum in his game just by his energetic displays.
Hodges, I should say. 7 or 8 metres on Canberra side of halfway. Played back to Craig Wing. 4-0 in favour of the home side. 4th qualifying final, and again it's Shavovsky beating both the attempted tackles. Eventually Cross comes again, picks him up in defence, 22 metres out from the Canberra line. Injury update, Andrew.
Yeah, Ray, bit of good news for the Canberra Raiders. Ian Hindmarsh, you can see, is back on the bench, but he's still a little sick and sore at the moment, and the doctor too hasn't given him the clearance to come back into the game. He's going to assess him again another 10 minutes. They're worried about a fracture around the eye socket. That's Michael Crocker in the Roosters dressing room. Take your pick with Mick. Got a bit of concussion. He's got a shoulder and a neck problem.
So Drew away for Wiki. And now Drew again. I wonder if Ruben Wiki ever worn jumper 22. I guess not, as McClendon puts in a kick that does a couple of mini bounces before the long jump. And then it's Minicello who's brought down, 18 metres out from his own line. Jason Kalis, 69 off 9. Hegarty, just outside the 20-metre line. His return coincides with Todd Byrne being told that he can negotiate with other clubs. Fitzgibbon with the ball.
And Ray Anthony Tupou coming into the game. He's another player who can spark a little bit of second phase play with his offloads. That speeds things up again.
Wing from dummy half. Sending it down to Matthew Chalk. Stays close to the ground. It's a running action that is conservative, but it's very, very quick.
4 tries last week for the young winger.
Marshall Chalk, I beg your pardon.
We see Nathan Smith, another winger, coming in off the bench into the action as Joel Monahan. Some nice stepping inside the 40.
Mogg waits.
Hold,
30 metres up. Now McClendon worked it across the back of the ruck to Tyron Smith. McClendon. Neat little kick, but it's taken by Mingacello, who was in goal.
No, he's in the field of play.
No, he's ruled he's left the field of play.
He actually called this very early, the referee. There he is. His feet in the field of play. He's got it exactly right. The referee Simpkins lands in the in-goal area. Line drop out.
What a line drop out it is.
And it was a quick one too, Ray. The Roosters wasted no time in setting up formation and getting the game back underway.
Tupu hitting very hard on Miller.
Well, they picked up 53 metres from that line drop out.
He's taken the count.
hold. Okay.
Getting up gamely. What hit me? What was that? That's what it was. Tupu and Ricketson. We will take a break and be back in a moment. Well, the pictures are telling the story. Welcome back. Still attention for Josh Miller.
I'm just wondering, Ray, where the damage was done, whether it was a combination of 2 impacts here. Firstly, the original collision, or his head hitting the ground right at the end of the tackle. Come in. I think he's fine there. I think when he goes down there, not a head slam, because I don't believe Luke Ricketson had his arm up around the head area. But I think it was that final impact with the ground that has done the damage.
Head slam, so it's going on report.
Well, he's going to put him on report here for a head slam. That is not a head slam.
Well,
that is not a head slam in the conventional sense.
No, but I can understand why he's put that on report. It'll be looked at later. If it's not a head slam, that Luke Ricketson won't have a case to answer.
What does matter is that Canberra took the penalty and they get a free use of the interchange. Thompson, 30 metres away from the Roosters line. Smith. Over to McClendon. Over there is Chalk, operating on the other side of the ground to where he's actually playing. Here's Thompson. 11 away from the line. Can Canberra find an opening? McClendon puts the ball up. There's a try, but can he get it down? Did he get it down? Monahan.
Tackle 5, held up.
Held up in goal. Tackle number 5. And again, a confident referee.
And that's the early kick across field I was talking about. Asking the Roosters to jam up in defence, then kicking for the wing. Monahan's a flyer. He got the leap, he got the ball, couldn't get it down. Here they go again.
McClendon across to the right-hand side. The bat down for Canberra. Mogg got it away to Wiki. Back to Mogg. Lays it on the ground for Thompson. 6 more tackles. Played by Thompson. Now it's with Szymanski. Szymanski tries to go through. Pull down 10 away from the line. Now it's with Mogg. Gets away from 1. Picks up Hodgson. He will play the ball. Jason Croker waiting. Off to the right and giving up a tackle. Morley all over the top of him. Drew Now for McClendon. Inside for Chalk. A metre from the line. Plays back to Drew. Then McClendon. And a little kick will be cleaned up by the Roosters, but it's line drop out time again.
They've done their homework, the Raiders. They've done their homework on the Roosters. They're really massaging them where they hurt. Kicks across field to the wingers. The players leaping high. Grubber kicks in behind the line on the fast-moving defence. Inside passes after the change of direction. These are things that can trouble the Roosters. They haven't come here to make up the numbers, the Raiders. They've come here to play. Oh, here we go again. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. The favourites bite the dust. The Roosters under the pump again.
Pessimism. Well, the word of the day for Mr. Gould, it sounds.
It's interesting with that restart. It was the Roosters who were keen to slow the game down. They've been under pressure for the last 5 to 10 minutes. They weren't not in any hurry to get the ball back in play.
30 metres out from the line. Here's Smith. Up towards 20 now. 4-0 in favour of the Sydney Roosters. A try for Fitzgibbon. McClendon showed it. Oh, and then it was unrehearsed and went horribly wrong. Flannery is with the ball. Embarrassing mistake for Canberra. There they go again. You give them a chance in the red zone and they just fall apart. Morley, Fittler, Fitzgibbon, taken by McClendon, halfway line. Hegarty, a dummy half. Wicky's blowing up about something, not happy. Hegarty, just out from the 40-metre line. We'll go down to the sideline and talk to the suspended captain in just a moment. His cross, 32 metres out from the Canberra line. Simon Wolford standing by. It's with Brett Finch as he puts the ball high in the air. And underneath it, Shavovsky. And Hegarty has beaten into it. The ball has been flung away from Minicello, but it went forward. Turnover. Matthew John, sideline.
Simon, we've got a game in our hands here. What are your thoughts?
I think we've shown really good composure early. We came here with the mentality not to be intimidated and to believe in the plan that we've practiced all week, and I think the guys have done a great job so far.
Just on tactics, the Raiders are staying in that middle third of the football field, getting quick play of the balls, letting Drew and McClendon getting out of the advantage line. Is that the game plan?
Yeah, well, you know, the Roosters, it's no secret they get up hard in defence, and we thought if we could get a lot of dummy half running, we could negate that defence, and I think we've been really effective out of dummy half at the moment.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, mate. Cheers, mate.
There's Thompson with a good run. The ball went forward. No doubt about it.
Yeah, we're down inside the last 10 minutes before half-time, and I would say, too, that this is part of the Raiders' plan. Even though it's come unstuck the last 2 sets of 6, play up the centre third of the field with dummy half running early. On this occasion, they go to the edge to chance their arm. Came up with a forward pass, came up with a mistake in the previous set of 6, but they're watching the clock. They know minute by minute what their game plan is.
Talking of minutes, there's 8.5 minutes to the break.
Three rows, we see Ian Hindmarsh back on the bench. It doesn't look as though he will be back from that shot. Maybe the last time we see a kick directed to John Monahan.
Fittler, beautiful ball! Came off a set of hands, it went forward. Walker's in some trouble. 3 of them have ganged up on Walker.
He had one caught there, Chris Walker. But there were 3 players around him, and then Ruben Wickie arrived to make number 4. Good decision not to unleash it.
Chris Walker. Ruben? Yeah. I've got that. Yep. Look, we've got nothing in that. Well, you're trying to blow it up into something that's not even there. Okay, keep right out of it. Where's Brett? Brett Finch!
Brad Pitt was saying it's going to be their penalty. The referee doing all the talking to the home side at the moment.
A nothing situation. You've come third man in. You can cause it to be something, okay? We're having a scrum. That's nothing. Scrum here.
Scrum, Canberra feed.
He's going to rule the scrum. And I can tell you, when the football was on, Anthony Minicello had a chance for a try. Fittler the left foot step, ball around the corner. Minicello had it on the fingertips, couldn't quite gather it. Fittler was claiming that Minicello was actually ankle tapped or tripped before he got the ball.
Raiders with Monahan. Held by Minicello and Finch. Flannery. Hodson this time. Andrew Voss highlight.
You've got to admire Matt Elliott putting faith in his rookies. Nathan Smith running with the ball right now. He's playing in the forwards. 5 minutes previous to that, he had Marshall Chalk coming in off the left wing playing for a 5-minute stint in the forward. Great faith in players. They've got less than a handful of games of first grade between them.
Advantage goes to the Roosters. Chad Robinson on him, jumper number 14. Played a small part before Minichiello was tackled. Now Fitzgibbon. And he's flung down in almost a judo-type tackle by McClendon. 40-metre line, wing. Now Tupu. Back to wing. Up towards halfway. Probing. Looking for the opening. 4-0 to score. Morley will try and slam them straight through. 35 metres out from the line. 6 3/4 from half-time. Wing again up the middle, persisting. 3-man dominating tackle. McClendon doing plenty of work. Finch, inside ball. Cross was there, but targeted. Smith has given a penalty.
Roll down the park. You've got hold of the ball, trying to pull it off him.
He came up with a good inside tackle there, but on the last tackle, after the Raiders have done very well,
Come out. Jason.
he's the man who threw the bad pass to give the Roosters possession just moments ago.
We've got 4 penalties against him, all over the place, in and around the ruck. Players held on the ground, he's trying to steal the ball. Okay. Regardless of that, we've had 3 other penalties, all against this player. Either shapes up or he'll have a spell. Okay. You work on him. It's your responsibility.
Tyrone Smith has got it in his head that he's the man to come in as the last tackle to make sure there's no quick play to ball. Morley nearly scored.
2 metres out. And another penalty.
This is part of the tactics.
Clinton.
Yes.
Sin bin.
The referee has recognised this. The referee has recognised these infringent penalties in his own quarter as attempts to slow down the game and break the rhythm of the Roosters. Simpkins is 100% right here. 2 penalties on early tackle counts close to your own line, saying kick for goal. You can't score the try.
This is the slowest walk-off you've ever seen. Play can't start until he's actually crossed the sideline.
Wait. Go on the
Give
line.
yourself a little bit longer break. Take your time.
Finch working with Fiddler. Crew and Croker making the tackle. Wing again. Finch. And good tackle, Ruben Wiki.
Wait. Go.
Wing for Fiddler. Fiddler back and wide for Walker. Walker got away from one. He'll go all the way. Walker goes in to score. The Roosters' second try of the day. This time against 12 men.
Last night, Stephen Price was sin bin. Cowboys scored 2 tries in his absence. This time, they come wide as we freeze it there. That's Joel Monaghan. He's actually playing on the wing in defence, and he comes a long way in as play continues on the Bundy Rum Telestrator. Defend Chris Walker. Superior speed to get around the outside. They get their second.
8-0 to score. Roosters in front. Well, I think most keen judges of rugby league would agree that Simpkins had to do something sooner or later. He had to show who was in charge of this game. He'd only just finished admonishing Tyrone Smith. Welcome back. The finals on the 9 Network on the Wide World of Sports, live and exclusive. Fitzgibbon attempting conversion of the Chris Walker try from 21 out. 5 in from touch. It is getting away. Failing to convert, hitting uprights and bouncing away.
Hits the post more than any other kicker I've ever seen. Look, I know the Roosters have scored here, but I still think it's an illegal play. That's the penalty for Shafoski getting sent to the sin bin. Slowing play down. Fittler will throw the ball out the back to Walker, and Walker will run behind his teammate Hodges. Now, I don't think the defence should ever have to contend with that. They should never think that's a possibility. I've argued this point all along. I know they're going to say no one was impeded, but the defence shouldn't have to think that that's going to happen. For mine, an illegal play. And
there's Shivovsky's reaction, realised that it would have been much better served with 13 out there. I think what we'll find with that obstruction play, the further the ball carrier is back away from the defence, the more leniency there is given by the adjudicators in the game. If a defender is close to the plate and it's obvious he can't make the tackle, the penalty's blown. If there's distance between them, they give that touch of leniency. This is a huge couple of minutes, 3 minutes in fact, coming up for the Raiders. 8-0 not bad, 14-0 would be a different story at the break.
Wing darting away. Almost to the 40-metre line. Robinson to the boot of Finch now. Finch's kick. Bouncing on its point, it was from inside the 40. Oh, look at the bounce for Hodges. Was he onside? Hodges goes in behind the uprights and he scores. Third try of the day. Simpkins is going to have a look at it. Hodges, was he onside?
First look, it appeared as though the chasers were onside. In fact, Brett Finch was looking for a 40-20 kick. Marshall Chalk was the unfortunate defender coming across. There's Brett Finch, a mile onside, absolutely a mile onside. Attacking players offside on the left side of the field, they don't get anywhere within 10. Marshall Chalk comes across, loses his footing, ball bouncing up for Justin Hodges. You chase those kicks 10 times in a game. Every now and then one bounces your way, but you've got to make the effort to get there. Brett Finch, he reacts, he knows that is a killer blow 2.5 minutes out from the break.
And as was the case last night, player in sin bin, and the team with 13 scores 2 tries in his absence.
And the try is awarded by the video referee, and it seems a little bit of extra delight out there for Brett Finch, who of course was a Canberra player.
This is the bloke that I think, well, here's the kick by Finch, and as Peter's already pointed out, it has taken the most appropriate bounce it could for Justin Hodges, who I was about to say has had a most checkered year. I still don't think he's recovered from a knee injury he suffered in the sandpit at Suncorp a couple of seasons back. And I think that's contributed largely to much of his problem. Fitzgibbon converts. The Roosters go out to a lead of 14 points to nothing. Matthew Elliott, the coach of Canberra, and the coach of the Roosters, Ricky Stewart. Andrew Voss sideline.
Yeah, there's a few broken hearts with the Raiders fans right at the moment. Clinton Schifofsky, we saw that shot slamming the water bottle down, conceding the first try while he's in the bin. I reckon he's just about kicked the dressing room door off now. The second try, he would have been there. Young Marshall Chalk, he started off the day on the wing. He's had a stint in the forwards. He's had a little run at the centre. Now he finds himself at fullback, and they're 3 tries down. But Clinton Schifofsky right at the moment is a very lonely and angry figure.
We should point out to viewers who maybe don't watch NRL all the time, this is sudden death for the Raiders this afternoon. They lose, they are definitely out of the competition. That's why you'll see reactions like that from their players when something doesn't go their way.
Morley. Here's Tupou. And struggling and straining, getting every millimetre of ground he can. Inside the last minute, Finch puts a kick in. Chalk it is that's running across, and this bounce is much better for him. He has to do a little tippy-toe inside the sideline.
Well, that was a great job there from Marshall Chalk. He must have been thinking of what happened previously. Did well to stay in the field and play.
Knocked on.
Bad play the ball. That was going to be a 40-20 from Brett Finch.
Now the Roosters will want to pack this scrum quickly.
Yeah, bad play the ball. That made it tough for John Monahan. Now by packing quickly, the Roosters get the referee to blow time out. That's Chalk going inches to the chalk. And we're going to have probably 2 or 3 plays before half time for the Roosters to add to this score.
Go down, Brad. Go back, Brad. Ben with him. No time on. Ben.
23 seconds. Now, Finch, Fittler, Minicello to Hegarty. Question mark on the pass. Back to Minicello. Kicks inside the 20. Ball bouncing around. Taken by Nathan Smith. He's taken by Hegarty. And that will see the end of the first half with this play taken by the Canberra captain. The Raiders at the 20th minute were still there at 0-0. But now the Roosters have piled on 3 tries. And at half-time in the 4th qualifying final, the Sydney Roosters 14, lead the Canberra Raiders no score. Back for the second half live on the 9 Network in just a moment.
Against them, they need to score first in this second half to be any chance.
A lot of people are probably wondering, looking at the performance of Mark McClendon since he came on, why in the hell didn't they start the game with McClendon? Down in Canberra when these two teams met, the Roosters, they targeted McClendon in defence and he was made to attempt something like 49 tackles in that game. There was a few leaks showing, and so Matthew Elliott chose to start him from the bench today. Now the Roosters on their way back.
Yeah, conversely, Ray, you've got to score points to beat this team, the Sydney Roosters. And the Canberra side are much more dangerous with the football with Mark McClendon out there. That must have been a difficult decision. Vinkovsky still a couple of minutes to serve in his sin binning.
I reckon he's paying his penance really for the crimes of Tyron Smith. He was sent to the bin, the play immediately after the admonishment of Tyron Smith, and I reckon Sivovsky's spending the time in the sin bin because Simpkins, he just boiled over. He'd had enough. He said, I've got to do something to get control of this game. They don't like blowing the pee out of the whistle, our senior referees. Sure of that.
Yeah, 11 penalties in that first half. It's quite a number. 7 to the Roosters, 4 to the Raiders. Let's hope we get a more flowing game for Paul Simpkins this second 40.
Waiting for a kicking tee. Cowboys, successful last night. Melbourne, successful last night. Brisbane, watching this game with interest because Canberra, they have won. We've dismantled them.
Okay, right to go.
Ruben Wiki, the man of courage. He's through 40 minutes. He couldn't walk yesterday. This kickoff is adventurous, but it's okay. Marked in the in goal, and the second half is underway. Is it going to be a mad Monday for Canberra? Down 14 points to nothing. Thompson goes on a run up the middle, almost to the 30-metre line. McClendon, a dummy half, decides to switch play back and across to his captain on the blind side, and it's Croker who gets the ball out the back to his number 18, Phil Graham. And now it is with Hodgson, who's tackled on the 40-metre line, his end of the ground, by Fitzgibbon, who scored a try in the first half. Again Croker, but running into Cross, and then the ball comes out. That's a good ball from Croker. Out it goes to Drew, and then it goes across to Chalk, who appears to be playing much closer to the ruck, in fact playing in the forwards possibly, as McClendon puts a kick in, bounces off a Rooster, then Fittler went for a bat down. It was awkward. It finished up with Minicello, and he's tackled. Tyron Smith and Thompson making the shot. Hodges taken by Smith and Monahan, or Drew, 35 metres out from the Roosters line. 3 tries in the first half. 3 tries really in the back half of the first half. It was 0-all, if I remember correctly, at around about a quarter time. Flannery with the ball now. Finch, who's on report, 38 metres out from the Canberra line. Play back to wing and given off to Fittler. Walker's on the chase after it from an onside position. Hegarty's coming in as well, but Canberra's got it covered, and that's Chalk. Keep in mind they're still playing with 12 men as McClendon sneaks around the outside of Cross and is picked up by Hegarty.
And somehow the Raiders need to get that speed of Mark McClendon into this game. Not many players run around Ryan Cross. McClendon was able to do so there, only for 5 or 10 metres, but he has blinding speed to get the points to win this game. He has got to be the catalyst.
5 last.
Wiki. Now Drew switches back to the blind.
That's last tackle. That's crazy. Last tackle. It's the second time they've just handed the football over without getting a kick away. they've got to know that it's the last. Someone's got to get boot to ball.
Tupou. Robinson running into Drew and Croker. On the 40-metre line, they're going to persevere with the short side for the moment. Flannery has left Croker behind, and Croker is hurt. Now it's come from Finch and gone back to Tupou. Tupou dragging them along. Tremendous run by a very good young talent of the future. Play back to wing. Now to Finch. Finch gives it to Fittler, and Fittler's under the upright. Fabulous Fittler does it again, and the face of Clinton Javovsky. 3 tries while he has been in the bin.
And the Bundy Rump Telestrator will show the great work here from Brett Finch, holding the ball back, waiting for the defender to come in. He catches the football now, he frees it there. All of a sudden, that man has come infield because he's held the play up. That's opened up the hole. Play continues, puts it on the chest. Great work from Brett Finch. He was going to throw it, then he propped, held it back, and that opened the gap up for his outside man.
Great hole running. Spoke about it at half-time, Brett Finch's ability to control different phases of his game. He plays inside early, then outside later. Fittler knew it, hit the gap, try to the Roosters.
Fitzgibbon. It's 20 points to 0 in favour of the Roosters now. Try in the opening 5 minutes of the second half. Just what Matthew Elliott didn't want. And you would have seen the look on the face of Clinton Javovsky. He'll be shouldering a lot of the responsibility. He's back on now, restarting the game. Roosters coming up with the ball from the kickoff, which was taken by Javovsky. As we welcome you back live, they're back to 13 players again, the Raiders.
Can't understand why that wasn't a penalty for a mid-air tackle. Just because it's a kick-off reception doesn't mean you can't be penalised for taking a fella's legs from underneath him. Flannery fell very heavily in that catch.
Fittler now to Fitzgibbon. And they're just onto the Canberra side of halfway. Here's Minicello dancing across towards Tupou. That must have been very close to forward. The youngster fires it out the back to Finch. He puts it on the outside edge of the right boot. Hasn't got bad weight on it, but it's got too much. So it'll come out to the 20 for the restart. Let's go down to the sideline, Andrew Voss.
Yeah, Ray, not all good news for the Roosters out of half-time. Michael Crocker's the player of most concern. Now, he won't be used again today. They fear there could be some nerve damage up around the shoulder and the neck, so not all good news for the Roosters. Ricky Stewart's instructions, I'm told, pretty straightforward, not to give Canberra a look in. Keep their discipline in check in the second half. They don't want to give away any silly penalties and not put themselves in any sort of dangerous position. And from Matt Elliott, look, I'm told he was still very upbeat in the room at half-time. He was talking about a lift in intensity, but he did talk about 4th and 5th tackle options, and already they've been caught once on the last. That would be most disappointing for the Canberra coach.
20 points to 0. 6 minutes of the second half gone, and that's play on. That's advantage. Roosters legally coming up with possession. Fittler across the back of the ruck and linking up with Flannery. Tackled over there by Croker and Thompson. They push the blind side again to Hodges, who runs up to Monahan. Then it's offloaded to Minicello, running along the 20-metre line. There he beats Nathan Smith. Then he takes on 3 others. Thompson on top in jumper number 10. O'Hara in 8. Hodgson in 14. Fittler to Finch. Finch to Tupou. Loses the ball. Legitimate. No, it's a rake. It's a rake. I just thought it was impact.
They called him offside. He said never got back to 10 metres. The speed of the Roosters game now is starting to tell on the Raiders. They're going to take the tap here. They're coming in. They smell blood in the water.
Hey, hang on here. Back here. Who's captain? Brad, what are you doing?
He was waiting for a decision. What you're doing, kicking for goal or taking the tap. So he recalled it.
Stand up.
Morley.
Skyline.
Morley taken to ground by Wiki and O'Hara. Wing to the right. Finch to Fittler on the 10. That is Robinson. Robinson taken low by Drew in 7. Now Fittler. Back to his own number 7, Finch. Of course, started his career with the Canberra Raiders. Swarmed over by Hodgson. Fiddler. Wing away to Minicello. Well, you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to think that he wouldn't pick up a try. 24 points to 0.
4 tackles than any other player in the game. First tackles, that is. Anthony Minicello. Here's the ball coming loose. Did it get any help? Yes, it did. Should have been a penalty to the Raiders. The Roosters take advantage of that. Good call for them. Beautiful line running again. Staggered defence. And Anthony Minicello, as we saw Brad Fittler do previous, into the hole, beat the outside man.
24-0, 49th minute. Given taking the conversion from close range. Kicked a couple of goals, 5 tries in the match. And put this one over the dot. No smiles. No joy. Fitzgibbon, the conversion of the Minicello try. And it takes it out to 26 points to 0. The young Raiders look on with not too much to smile about. Shallow restart of the game, the bat down by the Roosters, and Robinson has got the ball from his ruck man. Typical Australian rules style play. Kalis.
They lost the football there. Didn't appear to go forward, although we haven't got a great view from this side, but it's going to go against Jason Kalis, who was hit by 3 defenders. Ball comes out.
And that's a good decision. See all the Raiders' hands on the ball. Now, 99 times out of 100, that's a strip, and that's a penalty. But I agree with the decision that's been given. Now, a fumble's a fumble. He never had control of the ball.
Clinton on the run around. Shavovsky ignores him. Shavovsky, he may even feel like, I've got too much work to do myself to get my mind at rest and free. O'Hara, 3 tries scored while Clinton was in the sin bin. McClendon, across. Hodgson, put to ground by McClendon.
Well, that is a pet play of Mark McClendon, the run around, and that enables him normally to get quickly outside the defender and create the overlap. On that occasion, it just looked as though he wasn't expecting the football back. But he'll go around, and if he gets this, all of a sudden he has a chance of getting outside the defender Hodges, and there's 3 on 1. And that Elliott realises that it was an opportunity missed.
Walker.
But they're out of their comfort zone now, Peter. They're spoiling tactics earlier, running from dummy half and keeping it simple. They look good. Now that they're behind on the scoreboard, they've got to play some football. The errors start to come. The Roosters have just outpatience them here. Very patient performance by the minor premiers.
Fitzgibbon played it back for Hegarty. Hegarty running along the 40-metre line. Minicello flattens it up and goes straight to the halfway line. Tackled and put away by Ryan O'Hara. Wing. Taken by McClendon. Flannery was taken out, not in possession. He's with the ball again now. McClendon takes him down with Nathan Smith. 30-metre line on your screens. Just in front of the man playing the ball. Coming away from the eastern side towards the middle. And Finch goes to the air. Getting underneath it is Hegarty. He goes for a bat down. It's with Croft. It's play on. Minicello will score number 2. The bouncing Mr. Minicello has got his second try, but they will look at the bat down. Did it go back? Did it go forward?
The kick from Brett Finch. It was a good kick. It gave Chasers time to get there. Shannon Hegarty climbing high. Appears to have gone back. Cross gets on the outside. Ball back on the inside to Minicello. I think that'll be his second.
See, this is the ridiculous use of the video referee. For all intents and purposes, that's a knockback. It's gone a yard behind him. They want to look at some infantisimal notion that the ball may have travelled an inch forward from where it was last touched by the fingers. There's some things in football you just can't change, and you shouldn't even be looking for. That's a knockback. Play on, get on with the game. What the video referee can tell him that he can't see for himself out there that we can't see from here, they're looking for some little notion that maybe there's an inch of forward progress in the ball. Get on with the game. Otherwise, we'll be going to the video referee all the time. It's a try, Rabbits. I don't care what they say on the screen, it's a try.
It'll be a try. I'm confident it'll be a try. But I still give him the right to go to the video referee if he's not absolutely certain, and you are looking at a fairly confident young referee. He's one bloke not frightened to make a decision. 30-0 after 53 minutes of time.
Well, the reason we do go to the video referee is that every now and then we do see incidents at the they do look like it's a try, and on closer inspection something has happened that has been missed. I'm a fan of the video referee, but I would like to see it just used for these try-scoring situations. Minicello really coming into his game now, but the defence is starting to open up a little bit for him.
But they're looking for minuscule things, Peter. They're looking for things that, you don't really need to look for. I find it ridiculous.
Well, a knock-on's a knock-on if they find one.
Did that look like a knock-on to you?
No.
Good.
Fitzgibbon puts it straight between the big sticks. 32 points to 0. 54 minutes gone. We'll take a break. Here is Shavovsky now, working inside the 20-metre line. Play just inside the 20-metre line. Back live at the football stadium. Lawrence is back on in 19. Thompson works it away to McClendon. McClendon away, and Chalk is going so close to the line. Opportunity for Canberra just to sneak onto the board. McClendon and Shavovsky working together. Shavovsky will play the ball. 32 points to 0 in favour of the Roosters. And Canberra on the attack. Lawrence for McClendon. Shows it on the inside, then puts in a kick, and it's on the ground, and Minicello comes up with the ball.
Well, the Roosters, should they go on to win this, don't play for a fortnight, and I'm sure Ricky Stewart will be looking for this last 25 minutes to keep that defensive record intact. More than any other team in the competition, they keep size to 0. Not only sometimes in 40 minutes, but for 80 minutes.
Stand up.
Ricketson played it. Fitzgibbon running it. Thompson going in awkwardly to make the tackle. Nathan Smith is doing a good job, playing totally out of position from what we know about him. Finch's kick is a big one. It's got a lot of volume about it. The bounce I was about to say is no good, but then I remembered a kick in the first half that was absolutely beautiful. And now it's Shavovsky, who's tackled by Hegarty. Peter Sterling.
Yes, he did get a good bounce from the try earlier to Justin Hodges, but there have been 2 or 3 times that Brett Finch has gone very close to kicking a 40-20. If the bounce had favoured him, it would have been. So they're getting right through Smith, now Monahan, who really hasn't been involved in this game at all, out on that wing.
Flannery and Caddick hanging on. Caddick holding him down as long as he could on the halfway line. Here's O'Hara. And they didn't line up. They didn't line up.
In the middle, no man's land.
This referee, of the 4 matches we've had, I've got no doubts that he's had the toughest game to referee. And I think Bill Harrigan would be inclined to agree with that comment. Simpkins has really had a tough afternoon. Here's McClendon again. Still a talented player, isn't he? Ruben Wiki. Little handoff for Lawrence. Then away for McClendon. And the captain wasn't expecting it. And this was Ryan Cross as he's headed for the ground. Head in the hands there for Matthew Elliott. Hegarty.
Hand out.
Second play on this set. Fiddler. Finch. Flannery. Flannery bursting into an open space, but then it's closed by Nathan Smith. Dislocated finger there for Ricketson. This hurts. Hang on. The ball bubbles around there. Walker. He's okay that we relieved you of that pain. Tupou. You don't like him, you're hard to please. Walker, Finch, bounces off one of the Roosters, and Simpkins said play on.
Yeah, it came off Fittler's head. Good Falcon, that one last tackle. Finch will... Oh, intercept.
Intercepted by Graham. Graham is very, very fast. He puts in a kick to try and beat the defence.
Ricketson took him out.
And Fittler picking up the ball. Referee waiting to see just which option he would take.
Okay, took his run. No need for it. He's gone.
What they don't know is that Ricketson was coming from the field to be replaced, saw the break in front of him and stayed on the field to make the tackle. Ricketson was walking up the sideline with his dislocated finger. He's still going over on the sideline to get it fixed. He's wandering up the sideline. All of a sudden, there's Phil Graham comes running at him. He said, well, I'm not going to chase you. I've just got to knock you out of the way. Lukey boy.
So he eventually penalised for a late shot by Ricketson. Penalty given where the ball landed. Ryan O'Hara tackled in the middle of the ground now. Hodgson. Canberra in this territory that they would love to become the master of. Hold more command. From Drew to O'Hara, back to Drew, then it's away. Chalk got involved. Croker's involved. Croker, three-man tackle holding him down. Fittler and Hegarty. Then from Graham. Now for Drew. It's gone across for Shavovsky. The pass is terrible. Clinton would not be happy with that.
Great defence. Great defence. They're forcing the opposition to go side to side. They've got out of their comfort zone now, the Raiders. The simple game plan is gone. They're on the chase for points. They've got behind in the run rate. They're stepping down the wicket, Rabs. They're trying to hit it over the fence on every play. All they're doing is losing wickets.
That was a real chance for the Raiders. Catch and pass. The man coming in on Ruben Wiki there was the winger, Chris Walker. That was 15 metres in from the sideline.
Out, play on. What?
Minicello.
Back.
2 tries. Ricketson is finally coming off.
Hold.
Cross.
That's 3. Up again, Marcus Square.
For a horrible moment, when I realised it was Ricketson that hit Graham, I thought they must have had 14 players on the ground, because I was of the belief that Ricketson had come off to have the finger reinserted. That kick is far too fast.
Another attempted 40-20. Brad Fittler not happy with that one. Still that Luke Ricketson. It's not far away from a sin bin. Will Graham kicking the football down. There's no doubt he deliberately changed direction to put the shoulder in. Brad Fittler just didn't get that one right. He won't be too perturbed at 32 block.
I'll be surprised if he's not over on the sideline with his coach very shortly. 19 minutes to go. Even though they get the fortnight's break, he doesn't need football. An opportunity for the Roosters to finish off without him, just in case.
Monahan played that ball.
And Ruben Wiki leading the field for the Raiders. Will probably just about wind down his career with the green machine before he heads to the Warriors.
Now Drew. Hodgson. 22 metres out from the Roosters line. Lawrence away to Drew. Drew on to Croker. Then it's gone away to Chalk. 10 metres out from the Roosters line. Drew again. Lets a runner go. Lawrence ran the decoy. Thompson tries to go through an opening, but Fittler is there to shut him down. Now Shavovsky. Now Drew. Drew trying to shrug through. And that is again the turnover.
They have had success in the past running the ball late in the tackle count. I don't know if they've done it wisely today. Peter pointed out early that they've been caught in possession on tackle 5 far too often. It has proved successful for them in the past, and I guess that has alerted the Roosters to it today, and they've been a very committed side on last play to make sure they didn't run it around them.
Short side here.
And there's Luke Ricketson heading up the tunnel. I'm just hoping that it's not worse than a dislocated finger. It might even be a fracture. Tupou cracking them wide open. Now there's only green grass and one defender. That defender hangs onto him. Finch gets the ball away. Oh, Walker! Walker has taken a hand across the head from Tyron Smith. Nothing said, play on. Finch, and Smith goes in and takes him as well. Now it's Robinson who puts a kick in. Chbosky underneath it. Minicello doesn't make the tackle. Robinson dives.
He's a real talent, Anthony Tupou, isn't he? For a young kid. I guess it helps too, he's playing with so many good players as the Raiders turn one over here. It helps when you're playing with so many good forwards in your side because attention is taken away from you. But you've still got to marvel in your first season of first grade. He's played just about every game, and at the back end of the season when a kid should be getting tired and maybe replaced by a more experienced teammate, he's actually firing. He's the spark in the Roosters side. He's a real player of the future. Forget about what he's doing right now. This is Tyron Smith. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Reflex action across the shoulders. Nowhere near the head. Here comes big Adrian. He's back.
Flannery taking it 9 metres from the line. Croker and Hodgson making the tackle. Finch thinks about a 4-pointer for himself. He gets the ball away. Wing running a semicircle. Then he puts on another little bit of a semicircle. He's on the 10-metre line. Ran a long way. Didn't go forward. Raider injured is Chbosky. Now it's with Hodges. Hodges gets it away. Flannery is with the ball. Inside for Minicello. He is banged into the ground by Nathan Smith.
Real trouble out there, Clinton Chbosky.
Finch. Fittler. Cut-out ball. On the ground. Chance for Monahan. Monahan off his own 20-metre line, but running into Morley.
Let him go.
It's a right shoulder injury, a right arm injury for Clinton Chbosky as Michael Hodgson takes it to the 30.
Market square.
We're starting to get a little bit of feeling back in it now.
Thompson's with it.
Dominant 2.
Held by not Fittler, but Flannery and Robinson. Drew, O'Hara. They go in simultaneously again with Fitzgibbon and Katic and Robinson. And the ball played by O'Hara. Chbosky's okay. Running along the 40-metre line, passing to Chalk, drawing, and then getting it to Monahan. Left foot kick. Down it goes, on the boot again for Chalk. It'll go into touch. And it wasn't played out by the Roosters, in my opinion.
I don't know about that. You're back there in a defensive position. You get yourself so the ball can't get past you. Sometimes you don't play at it, but when you're actually across their cover or defending, I think the fact that you've gone there to tackle, you're playing at the ball.
It's involved in the play, isn't it?
Of course
it
it
is.
Play. Yeah. I think the Raiders deserve the advantage there.
Ricketson with a smile on his face, so he would surmise from that it's not a serious hand injury. I've got to say the Raiders, they've unearthed a couple of good players late in this season, both Marshall Chalk, just his 3rd game, Nathan Smith, his 7th game. They've played very well out there today in difficult circumstances. A couple of young men who might have a future with the Raiders as Fittler does a great job to put Cross away.
Cross running out of room. Flick passes to Fittler. And then it's back to Cross, and he's tackled about 7 metres on the Canberra side of halfway. 32 points to 0. 14 minutes of the game still remaining. The 4th qualifying final.
Craig Fitzgibbon getting a good round of applause as he leaves. You don't see him leave matches early. An early mark for him would be a reward. Ricketson back out.
Katic. Ricketson. Gone to ground. It's with Cross. I thought the deflection might have come from a defender, but there's no restart of the tackle count. A little bit of soccer ball. It was a cross kick. Lovely kick. Now, Hegarty is taken to ground. Chbosky made the tackle initially. It was secured then by O'Hara. Ricketson gets it on to Finch. He puts in a kick. The chase is on. Monahan taking it, and they've pointed back to the 20-metre line.
Talked about that nil scoreline for the Roosters. You know, on 14 occasions this year, 14 times this year in a half of football, they've kept their opposition scoreless. And on 3 occasions, against the Bulldogs in round 3 and Tigers in round 9 and round 17, they kept them scoreless for the full 80 minutes. It would be still an element of pride for them if they can do that here today. It's probably the only interest left in the game. That and getting through the 80 minutes uninjured is what's on the Roosters' minds.
Croker sending a ball away to Graham, and Graham coming away immediately from his sideline. Now that'll be a penalty against Craig Wing.
Got him held, Craig. Got him held, rolled him over.
A lot of talk in the Roosters dressing room at half-time about Joel Monahan. When they're in attack down this right-hand half of the field, Joel Monahan's way over on the left-hand side of the field. He's swapping now with his centre, who's going to go over there on the wing. But the crossfield kick from Brad Drew was something the Roosters talked about all week. It hasn't happened yet, but you would expect at some stage they'll do it. Look at that left winger there. He's nearly over in the crowd. Ball's on this side of the field.
I think they've wasted Joel Monahan this game. He's one of their best ball runners. He's hardly had any touches.
Mogg getting it away for Croker. Croker running at Higgerty and Wing. Tackle just outside the 20-metre line. Mogg a dummy half. Run around with Thompson. Back to Mogg. Now to Shavovsky. Shavovsky met by Morley. Good pick-up, Tyron Smith. Got the ball away to the support of Chalk. And Chalk, who's a bit of a goer. The kid. Had a big weekend last weekend with 4 tries. Now Drew on the 10-metre line. O'Hara. Well, I know it was a bad pass and it was pretty low, but gee, I don't know that there was a great deal of effort in trying to get down to pick it up. Play just inside the 20-metre line now, with Hodges playing the ball. Minicello comes to Lawrence, does a bit of a dance with him, invites him into the dance, and eventually a couple of other hombres come around and put him down.
And it does look as though Ruben Wiki will finish his Canberra career on the field. Another 12 minutes or 11 and a half minutes to get through. He's back out there.
Morley, Tyron Smith and Ryan O'Hara making the tackle. Don't forget that US Open final between our own Leighton Hewitt and Roger Federer. That's tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on 9 on the Wide World of Sports. Live and exclusive, the US Open men's final. Leighton Hewitt up against Roger Federer. The former number 1 versus the number 1. 32-0 at 69.
It might only be a short break for Craig Fitzgibbon. He should be trying to talk Rick into putting him back on.
That's about as calm as I've seen Ricky Stewart ever.
Yeah, maybe. He'll whinge about something after the game.
Here's Monahan.
I tell you what it does do now, it sets up the scenario we were talking about this morning. The Broncos will now play the Cowboys next Saturday in the third weekend of week 2 of our semi-finals. They've got to move that game. They've got to move that game to Townsville. I'm hoping that we can talk with David Gallup after the game in the post-match just about what discussions have taken place today. But it would only seem wise that the people here in Sydney understand the importance to our game, the long-term relationship we have with the grounds here in Sydney, and the short-term benefit that can be gained by taking the 2 Queensland teams up to that northern area of Queensland for what would be an absolutely sensational night of rugby league.
Drew with the ball, and he's also in company with Caddick and Flannery. They're a bit bigger than him. Defence beats attack. 32 metres out from the Roosters line. Shavovsky sets himself for a high bomb. I almost thought he was setting for a field goal. Minicello, a mistake, and there's a try for Nathan Smith. Smith has scored for the Raiders to get on the board.
Well, it was a fine kick. One of those torpedo punts that are so difficult to get underneath because they swirl in the breeze. Got set well. Minicello, he doesn't put many down, and that's just an indication of how difficult the kick was to take. And I just gave Nathan Smith a rap earlier, as I did Chalk.
32-4. Yeah. Thompson with a nosebleed. Still making the point about a transfer of that match between the two Queensland sides. Likely to happen. Finals football live on 9 on the Wide World of Sports.
As we see Clint Szymanski try and convert their only try, really narrowed the margin here. The angle, he's only 15 metres out. Further out, to take it obviously the wide of the angle to aim at, but he's done it successfully.
32-6. Something to cheer about from fans with the Horns. And Andrew Voss sideline.
Yeah, they're on the board just extrapolating now on what we are left with. Gus was saying next Saturday night, confirmed now, Broncos against Cowboys, and they're on the same side of the draw as the Roosters. So it's the Roosters to play the winner of the Broncos and the Cowboys. The other side of the draw, the Panthers will wait on the winner of the Storm and the Bulldogs.
Storm and Dogs on the Sunday. Cowboys and the Broncos on the Saturday.
So Bossy, that would point out that there is a chance of a replay of last year's grand final combatants.
Absolutely, and of course there's also the possibility still of 1v2. Roosters playing the Bulldogs in the decider.
O'Hara.
Hold in, hold.
Inside the 20-metre line. Post-match today, the VB man of the match. Thank you, VB, for making that possible through the year. Star player interviews. David Gallup joins us as we cross to the Cowboys for breaking news. Yes, we've crossed to Townsville. David Gallup joining the panel for news that apparently is breaking. Minicello with the ball now.
And just for the Raiders fans, Ray, any season where you make the finals, I guess you can say it's been a success. But they'll end this season losing more games than they've won. By their own admission, prior to the finals, it was a season they can't really be proud of. They've got a lot of work to do during the off-season. But just the fact that they beat the others home, I guess, will be some cause to think, well, we set a goal to make the 8, we got there. They've got some improving to do.
Fittler, surprisingly, is still in the game. Finch, away it goes. And now, Flannery is heading for the corner. Puts on a fend, crawls the last couple of metres. No tackle up. Simpkins pointing to the spot. Flannery scores for the red, white and blue.
Well, we speak
36-6.
about the bench of the Roosters, how strong it is. Chris Flannery, an established origin player for Queensland. Put him on in the centres, put him on in the back row. On this occasion he was outside Chris Walker. Lovely little flick pass from Walker. He was taken down in the tackle, got every right to improve his position. No defender hanging on. And he's a fine player, Chris Flannery. In some quarters still underrated. Not by the blokes he plays with and against.
Ricky Stewart likes him out in the centres. I've always considered him as a back row of the future. I think that's where he'll end up. But Ricky Stewart likes his defence out there and the fact that he's still got the speed at his age to compete with the faster men. And he's sure from his try there, the great angle he can run, the fact that he backs his pace to get on the outside of other people. But he's also got the constitution and the strength to play in and around the ruck. Played 5'8" for Queensland this year. Plays in the back row for the Roosters regularly. Very versatile player. Champion young kid.
5 minutes to go. Pitch given from the sideline. 21 metres out, and it looked like a good one. It is. The flags are vertical. Matthew Elliott goes for a swing. 28-6 score. Andrew, sideline.
I tell you what, I wonder if Ricky Stewart can coach racehorses, because he can certainly get a side ready for spring, can't he? His third year as a first-grade coach, he's now got the Roosters one game away from a third straight grand final. And coming into today, they'd won 4 straight matches, so that's now 5 out of 5. They go in the grand final, that's 6 out of 6 going into the big one. Great effort.
I know plenty of horse trainers that can train horses who can't get them ready for the spring. Only because they're too damn slow, Andrew, to answer your question. Not the trainers. Caddick, a brush off, and then, McClendon might have a problem here. High tackle, penalty given.
Look out.
Quick tap, and away goes Ring. Not held, another go.
Look out.
Still going. Still going.
Look out.
Now Ricketson Still going. 28 metres away from the Canberra line. It is Wing giving it on to Minicello. Go on, say it again.
Look out.
Here they go again. 15 metres out from the Canberra line. I love it. I love it. Your harmony is brilliant. Finch shows it to Fittler. Goes back to a second man play. A battle along the line. Fitzgibbon did it. Cronin. Fitzgibbon to Hegarty. Hegarty for the line. Hegarty, can he get it down? Hegarty gets it down. It'll be a try, I think. Simpkins got down there like a worm. Having a look at it.
Look out, look out, look out. Now we're going to look under to see whether he's got the ball down. Good football by the Roosters. Smart work by Craig Wing at the tap. Got them on the back foot. Here he is. He'll burrow in under here. I don't know if we've got any cameras in the middle of all this. He'll lunge towards the line. Shapovsky under the ball, way to the ball.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
No.
Well, it's not down now.
No.
There's no smile on Shannon's face. He couldn't feel the earth.
Look out.
Let's have a look underneath here. Ball off the ground, on the hand. No.
That might be the next thing we can get. An underground camera.
What about a ball cam? Ball cam?